Have you ever noticed that two people can stand in the same moment, one seeing blessing, the other seeing burden, and only one walks away empowered? Gratitude is the difference. It is not a decoration of a good life, it is the architect of it. We often imagine gratitude as something optional, an emotional add-on for the calm days. Yet gratitude is nothing less than a discipline of perception. It is the deliberate act of training the heart to see what the hurried mind overlooks. Gratitude changes everything because it awakens sight. It lifts us from the illusion that life is measured by scarcity. It teaches us that even in ordinary moments there are quiet miracles waiting to be acknowledged. Gratitude does not deny suffering, it interprets it. It asks, "What is this hardship shaping in me that comfort never could?" And suddenly the storm becomes a teacher, the difficulty a refining fire. Gratitude dismantles fear. Anxiety thrives on what might happen. Gratitude anchors us in what has happened, what has carried us, sustained us, rescued us again and again. Gratitude strengthens relationships because appreciation is one of the most powerful forms of human recognition. When we tell someone, "I see the good you bring," we breathe worth into their lungs. Gratitude humbles us. It reminds us that every breath is a borrowed gift. Every achievement stands on the shoulders of countless unseen helps. And finally, gratitude calls us to act. The grateful person becomes the generous person, one who does not cling to blessings but channels them outward. So today, choose gratitude, not as a warm feeling, but as a courageous practice. Train your eyes to see, your heart to recognize, and your voice to speak thanks aloud. For when gratitude is cultivated, it does more than brighten a moment. It transforms the whole landscape of a life. Gratitude opens the eyes of the heart by shifting our focus from what is missing to what is already present, creating a quiet transformation in the way we see ourselves, others, and the world around us. When people move through life with unexamined routine, blessings often become invisible, like familiar stars that no longer capture attention simply because they shine every night. Gratitude interrupts that blindness by slowing the mind long enough for awareness to rise. It teaches the heart to observe the small signs of care, support, beauty, and meaning that hide behind everyday noise. As soon as the heart begins to notice even one source of goodness, the mind becomes more willing to notice another, and the pattern of scarcity thinking weakens. Gratitude works as a gentle correction to the human tendency to magnify frustrations and minimize progress, helping individuals reclaim emotional balance. In human sociology, perception shapes behavior, and behavior shapes experience. When a person believes they lack enough, they move through life with guardedness, suspicion, or quiet resentment. But when gratitude reshapes their perception, they begin to see resources, allies, and opportunities that were previously overlooked. This shift is not imaginary. It changes the emotional chemistry of the moment. A grateful mind finds evidence of support, which increases confidence. A grateful heart recalls moments of kindness, which deepens trust. And a grateful outlook notices growth, even in difficult seasons, which strengthens resilience. People often assume gratitude requires perfect circumstances, yet it is often the act of noticing small, steady lights in imperfect situations that gives someone the strength to continue. Gratitude makes simple moments feel significant and heavy moments feel survivable. When the heart sees goodness, even if it appears in fragments, the person carrying that heart walks into the day with more courage. Gratitude also enhances self-awareness by reminding individuals of the distance they have already traveled, the challenges they have already overcome, and the ways they have changed for the better. This awareness supports a more grounded identity, one that is not shaped merely by present pressures but by the memory of endurance. As gratitude trains the mind to recognize what is already helping, life begins to look less like a battlefield and more like a landscape filled with hidden support. The more the heart practices noticing, the more it understands that meaning is not something to be chased in the future, but something constantly offered in the present, waiting to be acknowledged. Gratitude transforms adversity by shifting the mind from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this moment shaping within me?" Human beings naturally resist discomfort, yet many of the strongest qualities, patience, courage, resilience, empathy, are often born from experiences that challenge comfort. Gratitude does not pretend hardship is pleasant. Instead, it reframes struggle as a meaningful part of growth. When a person chooses to look for even the smallest lesson within difficulty, the weight of suffering begins to feel more purposeful. This change in perception does not erase pain, but it creates a path through it, allowing individuals to feel less defeated and more empowered. Gratitude acts like an inner anchor that steadies the mind when life becomes unpredictable, offering emotional stability in moments where fear or frustration would normally take control. From a sociological standpoint, people who interpret adversity through a grateful lens often respond with healthier behaviors. They adapt more quickly, they seek help when necessary, and they maintain stronger social bonds because they do not withdraw into hopelessness. Gratitude helps them understand that hardship is not a sign of personal failure, but a shared human experience that connects them with others who have walked similar paths. This sense of connection reduces isolation and promotes emotional healing. When individuals feel supported, they view their struggles through a broader, more compassionate lens, making room for wisdom to grow. Gratitude also encourages a mindset that notices progress instead of only setbacks. In difficult seasons, it can be easy to overlook how much strength has already been built, how many obstacles have already been overcome, and how much inner growth has taken place. Gratitude highlights these hidden victories and reminds individuals of their ability to rise, adapt, and continue moving forward. As this awareness grows, adversity becomes less of a threat and more of a guide that shapes character. Even in moments of loss, gratitude helps uncover what still remains: relationships, memories, opportunities, or inner qualities that have survived the storm. This recognition provides emotional breathing room, helping individuals endure hardship without losing hope. When the heart learns to find meaning within adversity, the difficulty that once felt unbearable becomes a source of unexpected strength, and the person experiencing it walks away with a deeper understanding of themselves and a renewed confidence in their ability to overcome future challenges. Gratitude interrupts fear and anxiety by pulling the mind out of imagined disasters and grounding it in the reality of what has already carried us through. Humans often live in the tension between memory and anticipation, remembering past mistakes while imagining future threats. Anxiety grows in this mental space because the mind fixates on possibilities rather than truths. Gratitude acts as a gentle yet powerful reset. It invites the mind to look at what is stable, what is good, and what has proven reliable, instead of spiraling into "what if?" Gratitude reminds us of what is, and this shift calms the nervous system, giving the heart room to breathe. When people consistently practice gratitude, they develop a habit of returning to the present moment, reducing the mental clutter that fuels stress and emotional exhaustion. From a sociological perspective, fear often spreads through groups because humans mirror the emotions of those around them. When anxiety leads one person to panic, others can unconsciously adopt that same tension. Gratitude disrupts this cycle by creating a counter-emotion, one that communicates safety, stability, and hope. A grateful person radiates reassurance, influencing their social environment in subtle but powerful ways. They become someone others feel calmer around, someone whose presence reminds people that not everything is falling apart. This emotional influence strengthens communities, friendships, and families by offering a stabilizing force in moments when uncertainty tries to dominate. Gratitude also strengthens the mind's ability to notice evidence of support. Fear exaggerates threats, but gratitude highlights resources. It reminds individuals of people who have stood by them, opportunities they have received, challenges they have already survived, and moments they once feared but ultimately overcame. This awareness creates a psychological foundation of safety, telling the mind that it is not as vulnerable as fear suggests. Each thankful thought becomes a small brick in a wall of resilience, making the person less susceptible to panic and more willing to trust their ability to move through difficulty. When gratitude becomes a habit, it changes the emotional lens through which life is interpreted. Instead of assuming the worst, the mind begins to notice signs of possibility. Instead of fearing the future, the heart becomes more confident in its capacity to adapt. Gratitude does not remove uncertainty, but it transforms the way we approach it, turning fear into clarity and anxiety into calm strength. Gratitude deepens relationships by helping people feel seen, valued, and emotionally safe. Human beings are wired for connection. Yet many relationships suffer not because of lack of love, but because of lack of expressed appreciation. When gratitude becomes part of daily interaction, it transforms ordinary moments into powerful affirmations. A simple acknowledgement like, "I appreciate what you did," or "I'm thankful for you," can soften tension, heal misunderstandings, and strengthen trust. Gratitude shifts the atmosphere from expectation to recognition, reducing the silent pressure that often builds when people feel taken for granted. In every relationship, family, friendship, or partnership, gratitude invites both sides to focus less on each other's shortcomings and more on each other's efforts, creating emotional warmth and mutual respect. From a sociological viewpoint, people naturally seek environments where they feel valued. Appreciation functions as social nourishment, encouraging individuals to invest more kindness, patience, and loyalty into the relationships that make them feel uplifted. When gratitude is present, individuals become more generous with their support and more forgiving of imperfections. This creates a cycle where appreciation inspires kind actions and kind actions inspire more appreciation. In this cycle, relationships grow stronger and more resilient because each person feels emotionally reinforced. Gratitude makes the bond feel like a shared space of encouragement rather than a battlefield of unmet expectations. Gratitude also enhances empathy. When someone pauses to recognize what another person contributes, whether through effort, sacrifice, or simple presence, they become more attuned to that person's feelings and needs. This awareness reduces conflict because people respond with greater patience and understanding. Instead of assuming negative intent, they begin to see the good intentions behind actions. This shift in perception helps conversations become more thoughtful. Disagreements become less heated, and forgiveness become easier. Gratitude softens the instinct to criticize and strengthens the instinct to care. Expressing gratitude also has a powerful emotional echo. Hearing words of appreciation boosts self-worth, making individuals feel meaningful and respected. This emotional uplift often leads to more positive behavior, creating a contagious effect that spreads through families, workplace teams, and communities. A grateful mindset allows people to focus on the strengths others bring into their lives, making connection feel lighter, deeper, and more fulfilling. When gratitude shapes the way people relate to each other, relationships become not just places of shared living, but places of shared growth, support, and emotional enrichment. Gratitude breeds humility by reminding us that much of what we have in life is shaped not only by our own effort, but also by the support, opportunities, and kindness of others. Human beings naturally drift toward the belief that they must carry everything on their own. Yet gratitude interrupts this illusion and shows that success is often a shared achievement. When a person reflects on the teachers who guided them, the friends who encouraged them, the family members who believed in them, or even the strangers whose work makes daily life possible, a humble awareness forms. This awareness does not weaken confidence. It strengthens it by grounding the individual in reality rather than pride. Gratitude makes room for acknowledgement rather than entitlement, helping a person walk through life with openness rather than arrogance. In human sociology, humility creates healthier interactions because it reduces competition for dominance and increases cooperation. A grateful person understands that they are part of a larger web of relationships, systems, and contributions. This understanding encourages them to treat others with respect rather than superiority. By recognizing how interdependent humans truly are, gratitude softens defensiveness and increases the willingness to listen, learn, and adapt. A grateful heart sees value in others, not just in itself, making social connections more meaningful and less transactional. People are naturally drawn to those who appreciate them. Humility supported by gratitude becomes a quiet magnet that builds trust and closeness. Gratitude also reshapes identity by shifting focus from ego to growth. Instead of believing they accomplished everything alone, a grateful individual acknowledges the many hands that helped shape their journey. This mindset empowers them to stay teachable. Humility does not mean denying personal achievements, but appreciating the foundation that made them possible. This awareness prevents the unhealthy pressure of perfection and replaces it with a sense of shared progress. As the ego loosens its grip, stress decreases, compassion increases, and emotional maturity deepens. Gratitude-driven humility encourages people to give back because they recognize how much they have received. When individuals see their blessings as gifts rather than entitlements, they naturally feel inspired to contribute to others' growth as well. This creates a culture of reciprocity rather than competition, where people lift each other instead of racing to outshine one another. Gratitude makes humility a source of strength, shaping individuals into kinder, wiser, and more grounded versions of themselves, capable of influencing the world with integrity and sincerity. Gratitude generates action by turning appreciation into motivation and transforming positive emotion into purposeful movement. When individuals recognize the value of what they have been given, whether opportunities, support, time, or resources, they naturally feel a desire to use those gifts well. Gratitude energizes the mind by shifting focus from limitations to possibilities, helping people see what they can do instead of what they lack. This sense of empowerment becomes a catalyst for action, pushing them to work harder, serve others, and take steps toward goals they once hesitated to pursue. Gratitude opens the door to responsibility, not through pressure, but through inspiration. It reminds individuals that every blessing carries potential, and potential becomes meaningful only when acted upon. In human sociology, people often feel stuck not because they lack ability, but because they lack a compelling reason to move. Gratitude gives that reason. When a person reflects on the opportunities available to them, perhaps opportunities others never received, they develop an internal drive to make those opportunities worthwhile. This mindset reduces procrastination and increases engagement because gratitude creates emotional momentum. It quiets the inner voice of fear and magnifies the inner voice of purpose. People who practice gratitude consistently tend to show more initiative, contribute more to their communities, and approach challenges with a proactive mindset. Their appreciation fuels determination, giving them the emotional stamina to push through obstacles. Gratitude also strengthens the desire to give back. When individuals acknowledge how others have shaped their journey, they feel a natural pull to extend that same support to someone else. This creates a social ripple effect where acts of kindness multiply. A grateful person becomes more aware of who might need encouragement, who might need help, or who might need an opportunity. This awareness leads to action, offering guidance, sharing resources, volunteering time, or simply being present for someone. Gratitude shifts the internal narrative from, "What do I need?" to, "What can I offer?" And this shift transforms relationships, workplaces, and communities. As gratitude fuels purposeful behavior, individuals begin to notice a deeper sense of fulfillment. Taking action from a place of appreciation creates a meaningful connection between effort and impact. Instead of chasing achievement for validation, people act out of genuine thankfulness, which strengthens their emotional well-being and sense of identity. Gratitude makes effort feel lighter because it connects work with meaning and service with joy. It turns intention into movement, and movement into lasting change, shaping lives with purpose-driven action.